The unexpected encounter. The Federation patrol vessel, FSS Meridian, glided silently through the void of space, its sleek organic design reflecting the dim glow of a nearby gas giant. It was a routine patrol in Sector 7, a region of space where few surprises ever occurred. The crew, composed of various species from across the Federation, operated under the assumption that this patrol would be no different from the hundreds before it. That illusion was shattered when the ship's sensors blared an alert. Unidentified vessel detected. Officer Relk Blue, the ship's sensor technician, quickly adjusted the controls, his four arms working in perfect synchronization. His elongated blue head twitched in surprise as he stared at the unfamiliar ship appearing on their long-range scanners. It was crude by Federation standards. Bulky, angular, and built from processed metal alloys, rather than the sleek, bioengineered materials common among the more advanced civilizations. Blue's antenna twitched with unease as he turned to his superior. High Commander Shivak, the ship does not match any known Federation or neutral trading vessel configurations. It appears primitive. Shivak, a translucent being with a shimmering, almost gelatinous form, floated closer to the control panel, his multiple eyes narrowing. A murmur passed through the bridge crew as the ship's image flickered onto the main view screen. The unregistered ship was unlike anything seen in Federation space. Its design lacked symmetry. Its hull was scarred from apparent combat or deep space exposure, and it bore strange markings in an unknown script. A script that read, Star Merchant. Shivak's tendrils pulsed with concern. Have they responded to our presence? Blue shook his head. No immediate evasive maneuvers. They are holding position. The High Commander considered this for a moment before making his decision. Activate Universal First Contact Protocols. Transmit peace signals on all known frequencies. The Federation ship broadcasted mathematical sequences and harmonic tones, a language understood by all advanced species. It was the standard greeting, meant to show that they came in peace. The crew watched anxiously, awaiting a response. Moments later, it came. The Federation's holographic display shimmered to life, revealing the face of an unknown species, a bipedal, flesh-covered entity with an unsettling forward-facing gaze. Its mouth parted, revealing rows of teeth in an apparent threat display. But then, it spoke. Hello there. This is Captain Tom of the Earth vessel Star Merchant. Nice gentle music you've got there. Are we in your territory? We're just passing through, doing some trading. Silence filled the Federation bridge. Not fear, not panic, no proper formalities. The creature spoke with casual confidence, as if it weren't addressing an advanced, intergalactic governing body. Shivak's translucent form rippled with uncertainty. This was not how first contacts were supposed to go. Officer Blue quickly analyzed the visual feed. High Commander, the entity is displaying its teeth. It appears to be a threat display, but its body language does not match typical aggression. Shivak narrowed his eyes. Explain. Blue gestured toward the human on screen. It does not exhibit increased heart rate or defensive posturing. In fact, the being appears at ease. The bridge crew murmured amongst themselves. It got worse. The human made a noise, a sudden, sharp burst of sound that the Federation crew had never encountered before. A rapid exhalation, paired with a rhythmic, barking-like tone. It took the Federation's AI translation systems several moments to process the meaning. Laughter. Shivak stiffened in shock. This creature, this primitive deathworlder, was laughing. Not out of fear, not out of nervousness, but because it found amusement in the situation. The rest of the human's transmission continued, but it only worsened the Federation's unease. We've got some interesting goods to trade if you're interested. Coffee, spices, some earth art, and chocolate. Everyone loves chocolate. The translation AI hesitated. The words coffee and spices were flagged in the Federation's toxic substances database. These weren't just consumables. They were mild poisons to most species. Yet this human offered them freely. HFY recoiled slightly. They consume toxic substances willingly? Officer Blue's expression darkened as he ran a deeper scan of the human physiology. His findings sent a wave of disbelief through the bridge crew. Commander, their core body temperature is nearly 37 degrees Celsius. The murmurs grew louder. That was far beyond normal tolerances for most species. They should be cooking alive. HFY's form rippled with anxiety. These creatures thrived in heat and radiation that would kill most advanced life forms. Scan their homeworld. The results sent another wave of alarm through the crew. Planet Earth. Classification: Class 13 Death World. High gravity. Extreme temperature variations. Lethal radiation exposure. Evolved under conditions no advanced species would willingly inhabit. Pursuit predators. HFY froze at that final note. Pursuit predators were exceedingly rare. Most species in the galaxy had evolved to either fight or flee. The concept of an intelligent species that never stopped hunting was beyond terrifying. A message immediately went out to Federation Central Command. Alert. Potential hostile species discovered. We are named NDICATORs. Extreme resilience. Toxic substance tolerance. Pursuit predator behavior. While the Federation ship quietly flagged Earth as a potential Class A hazard, the humans aboard the Star Merchant were having an entirely different conversation. First Officer Mike leaned back in his chair, watching the Federation fleet with mild curiosity. "Think they'll trade with us?" he asked. Captain Tom grinned, taking a sip of steaming black coffee. "Oh, they'll warm up to us." Mike laughed. "Hope so. We set up the welcome package yet." Ready and waiting. On the Federation bridge, however, it was anything but calm. HFY received new orders from Central Command. Contain the vessel. Prevent its approach to any Federation worlds. Reinforcements en route. Exercise extreme caution. The humans were about to receive the warmest Federation welcome possible. A full fleet's worth of containment protocols. But they had no idea the humans had already misinterpreted their presence as a friendly invitation. As Federation warships surrounded the Star Merchant, Captain Tom's grin widened. "Look at that, Mike. They sent a welcome party." First Officer Mike nodded. "Man, these aliens are friendlier than I expected." Little did they know, the Federation had never been more afraid in its existence. First contact gone wrong. The Federation fleet's containment formation tightened around the human vessel, Star Merchant. The vast, gleaming warships, designed for strategic precision rather than brute force, hovered menacingly around the comparatively tiny Earth ship. The tension in the FSS Meridian's command deck was thick. High Commander HFY stood motionless, his translucent body pulsing with agitation. His many eyes flickered between the incoming reports, the real-time data streaming in from the fleet, and the unsettlingly casual human transmission still looping on-screen. Captain Tom of the Earth vessel Star Merchant, the human had said, grinning like a predator baring its fangs. "Nice gentle music you've got there. Are we in your territory?" The High Commander's tendrils flexed in discomfort. Every instinct told him this was wrong. "Admiral, all ships are in containment positions," Officer Blue reported. His 4 arms hovered over the console, constantly adjusting the data feed. "We are receiving no signs of distress from the human vessel. They appear relaxed." HFY didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. Most species, when surrounded by Federation warships, responded in one of 3 ways: panic, surrender, or outright hostility. The humans. They were setting up decorations. On the Star Merchant, the crew bustled about the cramped cargo hold, adjusting various objects to what they considered a proper welcome display. "All right, let's make a good first impression, people," Captain Tom called out, clapping his hands together. "Jack, you got the banner up." Engineer Jack, a broad-shouldered man with grease-stained hands, gave a thumbs up from where he was standing on a ladder. A slightly wrinkled "Well, see you on HFY Indies" banner hung from the ceiling, swaying slightly in the artificial gravity. "It's a bit crooked," Jack admitted, "but I doubt they'll care." "Perfect," Tom said, nodding in satisfaction. "Mike, did we set up the refreshments?" First Officer Mike leaned against the table, arms crossed. "Got fresh coffee brewing, some assorted Earth snacks, and—" he tapped a metal tin. "Chocolate chip cookies." The humans had no idea that nearly everything on that table was considered either toxic or highly dangerous to at least half of the Federation species. To them, it was hospitality. To the Federation, it was madness. The containment order. Back aboard the FSS Meridian, alarms flickered softly as Central Command's orders arrived. A priority transmission crackled to life, displaying Admiral Voxel, the commanding officer of the sector's fleet. His crimson carapace gleamed under the soft light of the control deck. "High Commander, I have reviewed your findings." Voxel's voice carried the weight of absolute authority. "This situation has escalated. The human species demonstrates multiple Class A hazard indicators: thermal resilience, toxic substance tolerance, pursuit predator behavior, and erratic social customs." Shyvak exhaled, his translucent form shifting to a darker hue. "Admiral, I recommend immediate containment. The humans have not displayed overt hostility, but their behavior is erratic. Their ship does not match any known standard of diplomacy." Voxel narrowed his many eyes. "Have they resisted containment?" Shyvak hesitated. "No." Voxel clicked his mandibles. "And yet they do not submit." "No, Admiral." The Admiral's color darkened, a universal sign of displeasure among his species. "Deploy the pacification field." A ripple of unease spread through the bridge. The pacification field. A low-energy pulse designed to render hostile species unconscious, neutralizing threats before open conflict could arise. It was a non-lethal method of subjugation, one used in extreme circumstances. Shyvak hesitated. "Admiral, if I may." "Do it." With no other choice, the order was given. The pacification attempt. A soft blue wave of subspace energy spread across the void, engulfing the Star Merchant. The field penetrated the ship's hull, designed to disrupt neural activity and induce unconsciousness in most sentient life forms. Shyvak waited. Silence. No response. Then, laughter. Laughter, followed by a casual message from the human vessel. "Hey, did anyone else feel that? Kinda nice, like a massage chair." Shyvak froze. It had no effect. Officer Blue quickly recalibrated the readings. "High Commander, their life signs are completely stable. Neural activity remains high. They appear unaffected." Impossible. The pacification field had subdued every species it had ever been used on. No creature in the known galaxy had ever resisted it. Until now. Shyvak felt his form pulse with absolute dread. "Commander," Officer Blue continued, his voice hesitant, "not only are they unaffected, but they appear to have found it pleasant." Shyvak snapped his head toward the viewscreen, where the human captain, still grinning like a lunatic, was speaking with his crew. "Mike, you think we should thank them? Maybe they were just giving us a friendly little buzz." "I dunno, Cap," Mike replied, rubbing his chin. "Maybe it's a cultural thing. Some kind of greeting." "Yeah, good point. Let's send a thank you message." The Federation bridge crew watched in horror as a new symbol appeared on their screens, a simple yellow circle with 2 dots and a curved line. A smiley face. Shyvak felt his soul leave his body. The Federation's ad translator processed the symbol, attempting to decode its meaning. Within seconds, an answer appeared. Interpretation. Unknown. Potential threat display. Highly abstract. Possibly a warning symbol. "They are mosquitoing us," one of the Federation officers exclaimed. Panic spread through the Federation fleet. The humans prepared to greet their new friends. Aboard the Star Merchant, Captain Tom was feeling optimistic. All right, crew. We've sent the smiley face. We've got the snacks ready. Let's invite them over. Mike, leaning against the table, smirked. Yeah, I mean, we're surrounded, but they haven't shot at us yet. That's a good sign, right? Exactly. Tom grinned. That means they're curious. They just need a little push. Tom tapped the communication console and sent one final message to the Federation fleet. We see you guys are taking your time. No rush. Just letting you know we've got food and drinks ready in the mess hall. If you want to come over, the invitation's open. First round of coffee's on us. Back aboard the FSS Meridian, Shivak nearly collapsed from stress. They're inviting us inside. Officer Blue stared in horror. Commander, they're offering us talks as substances. Shivak felt his form flicker to a near-translucent white, a sign of pure terror. The most feared species in Federation history wasn't attacking them. They were trying to be friends, and somehow, that was infinitely worse. A terrifying invitation. The Federation fleet hovered in tense silence, their containment formation holding firm. Inside the FSS Meridian, the crew was reeling from the latest development. They invited us to consume poison. Officer Blue whispered, his forehands frozen over the sensor controls. High Commander Shivak barely responded. He was too busy watching the human captain grin like a lunatic on the view screen, completely unaware of the unfathomable horror he had just unleashed. On screen, Captain Tom casually leaned against his console, still radiating an unsettling level of confidence. We'll even throw in some extra chocolate, he added. Just say the word. Shivak felt his body flicker into near translucency, his species equivalent of a full-scale anxiety attack. Commander, Officer Blue gulped. We need to respond. What do we do? Shivak exhaled slowly, his gelatinous form pulsing with anxiety. He turned to his officers. We follow containment protocol. Officer Blue hesitated. Sir, are we sure that's wise? This species is exhibiting traits that go against everything we understand about survival. The pacification field failed. What if they resist containment? Shivak's form darkened. Then we will have no choice but to escalate. On board the Star Merchant. Inside the human freighter. The crew was in high spirits. First Officer Mike looked over at Captain Tom. No response yet, Cap. Maybe they're nervous. Tom chuckled. Yeah, I get it. First contact is always a bit awkward. Let's give them a moment. Engineer Jack, adjusting the banner in the mess hall, grinned. I mean, come on. What's not to love? We got snacks, good company, and fresh coffee. He paused. You think they take sugar? Mike shrugged. Depends. Some species are weird about sweets. You know, different biology and all. Yeah, fair. Jack nodded. Still, I can't imagine they turned down chocolate. None of them realized that, aboard the Federation flagship, their offer was being interpreted as a veiled death threat. Containment escalates. Shivak had made his decision. Deploy the gravlock field. A gravlock field was a last resort measure, an artificial gravity anomaly designed to immobilize a hostile vessel. The energy waves would lock the ship in place, preventing movement without causing physical harm to its crew. The Federation fleet fired up their emitters, sending pulsing waves of subspace energy rippling toward the Star Merchant. Inside the human ship, Tom felt a sudden shift in inertia. His coffee mug slid off the table, spilling across the floor. Mike blinked. Did we just get hit with something? Tom checked the navigation console. Huh. Looks like they threw some kind of gravity anchor on us. He turned to his crew. Guess that means they're ready to talk. On the FSS Meridian, the crew watched in horror. The humans weren't reacting. There were no distress signals, no panicked messages, just a new transmission. The message, neat trick, can we get one of those? Shivak froze. Officer Blue's antennae twitched in pure, unfiltered panic. Commander, he whispered, voice shaking. They are unaffected by the gravlock field. Shivak's tendrils tightened. That's not possible. He turned to another officer. Increase power to the emitters. Another pulse surged through space. Inside the Star Merchant, Tom stretched his arms. That last one tingled a bit. Did anyone else feel that? Jack cracked his knuckles. Yeah, kinda relaxing, honestly, like standing in a warm breeze. On the FSS Meridian, chaos erupted. Commander, their energy readings remain stable. They are experiencing zero negative effects. Shivak's translucent form shuddered violently. The humans were shrugging off containment measures that could immobilize battleships. And worse, they liked it. A dangerous misunderstanding. Back on the Star Merchant, Captain Tom scratched his head. Okay, so they're still not responding. Mike sighed. Maybe they're just shy. Tom smirked. Only one way to find out. He turned back to the comms panel. Hey there, Federation friends. Not sure what all the energy pulses were for, but they felt kinda nice. Thanks for that. Anyway, just letting you know we've got extra seats in the mess hall if you want to drop by. Doors are open. He ended the transmission with a friendly thumbs up. On the Federation bridge, absolute pandemonium broke out. Shivak barely remained upright. They think we're giving them a QO or TIing message. Officer Blue's eyes were wide with existential horror. Commander, they just invited us onto their ship. The bridge crew shuddered. The humans had shrugged off every containment measure the Federation had thrown at them. They had endured pacification, gravlocks, and yet they had not retaliated. Instead, they had extended an invitation. A species that consumed poison as refreshments and functioned under Deathworld gravity wanted them to come aboard. Shivak's form dimmed. We cannot allow that to happen. Desperate measures. Admiral Vugzil's transmission came through immediately. High Commander, we have been monitoring the situation. We are out of options. Shivak tensed. Sir. The Admiral's mandibles clicked in frustration. We are facing an unknown threat with unprecedented resistance to containment protocols. This is an emergency. The entire bridge crew stiffened. An emergency declaration. That meant one thing, military escalation. Shivak took a slow, deliberate breath. Sir, we have detected no signs of hostility from the humans. Perhaps. Do not be naive, High Commander. Vugzil's voice was sharp. These creatures are clearly holding back their true capabilities. If they wished to destroy us, they already would have. The fact that they have not means only one thing. They are observing us. Shivak's body flickered in alarm. You believe they are studying our defenses. The Admiral's response was immediate. I believe they are sizing us up before striking. Shivak turned to his crew. Prepare all fleet weapons. Issue final warning to the human vessel. A Federation officer sent the message. Moments later, a reply came. On the Star Merchant, Mike read the transmission. Okay, so they're telling us to power down our engines and prepare for inspection. Tom chuckled. See, they're warming up to us. Inspection just means they want to get to know us better. Jack laughed. You think they'll be cool with a barbecue? Tom smirked. Only one way to find out. He pressed the comm button again. Hey guys, we hear you loud and clear. Just letting you know. We're firing up the grill. Feel free to come aboard anytime. First round of steaks is on us. Back on the Federation bridge, Shivak collapsed onto the floor in absolute despair. They are preparing. A feast. Officer Blue whispered in horror. They are celebrating our arrival. The Federation fleet had never been more afraid.